Hello there, this is Rom coming back at you with yet another car video. Women are thirsty for certain men. Women are thirsty. Now, not for men, period, of course, but certain men. And you know what? You don't have to be a Superman out here to get a woman. Like super tall or anything, or 6'2", or looking like a fashion model, or having six figures. You got guys out here getting women, and they just men. In fact, I know this Tantra Mussy who said that tantra, tomato, whatever. And somebody was asking him how he was getting women and stuff, even though he was older. He's a man. And notice I said certain men because women ain't thirsty for every single man. Most women could get a man if they would just grab any old man. But if a man wants a woman out here, as long as he covers some basics, he'll get a woman. And those basics, I talked about it several times. The environment, where that is. But your appearance, let me just talk about that for a second. Just be clean. Be in decent shape. You don't have to be super muscular or something. Just be in decent shape. Have your clothes right, have a good haircut regardless of the style, because the other day I was saying, some dudes might have a long hair, some dudes might be bald, whatever. In general, regardless of the style, women like some roughnecks or some dusty dudes out here. You shouldn't want them anyway, so, just let them go. Let them go. They usually got some issues. But usually, if you got a clean appearance just most of all, and you don't have to necessarily have, some luxury goods on or something like that, right? But if you have a clean appearance, a general clean appearance, and in decent shape, in most cases, you go and get some woman, right? So that's the appearance, right? That's your trap, that's your bait. Because women, they making a decision right there. And like I said, you don't have to be drop dead handsome. Just work with what you got. Work with what you got, because some women, some women like a medium ugly dude, whatever, or average dude, as long as he clean up, a woman's good with that. That's why they will call a man who don't clean up, who ain't taking care of himself, dusty. All right? So, okay, that's one. But then, what you got going on for you? What you got going on? What can you talk about? Because women like conversation. Or if we say it the ghetto way, conversating. That's not really a word, y'all. But, women like conversation. They like to talk, I think it was 20 to 30,000 words a day, whereas men, they're good for, 10,000 words a day? We don't like to talk. We get right to it. Women, shoot. I remember this joke this dude said. He said women couldn't be spies. He said women could not be spies, because if you get a man and, somebody got him and trying to get some information, dude ain't gonna give it up. You dude to be like, nah, I'm gonna be quiet and take pain, everything, torture and all of that. You get a woman spy, you catch her, she be like, child, let me tell you. You got some coffee? Yeah, but they like to talk. Even if, you don't even have to really have much to talk about. there's two things, right? Like if you talk to a woman and just ask her whatever she says she about, just ask her, oh yeah, what's that about? Even if you don't know it. Oh, women go crazy over that. She'll be like, oh shoot. Just ask her like what's she about or what she into or something. All you have to do is be like, yeah, oh wow. You don't even have to talk that much. Just be able to get in a conversation. Now there are going to be occasions where she might get around to asking what you about. Okay, what you got going on? If you a man, okay, you taking care of their parents, then you have something going on. You got something to talk about. What are you into? What's your thing? You know? Because, yeah, they like talking about themselves and everything. But at some point, you got to talk about what you doing. They want to know what you into. Like my main thing is writing. And I've said that before. When I first started writing and everything, I met some women, they weren't into it. They weren't into it. They were just like, oh, how you gonna make money? I already knew. Okay, boom. I ain't need to deal with it. But when I look back at the women I got along with, very attractive women, they were into writing. They were into writing and finding out what someone's writing about. Or even if you had a job, or depending on what you're doing. Because, I always joke I had 1,000 jobs. One of them was working as an investigator at the D.C. courthouse. Mainly working for defense attorneys and stuff, freelance and everything. And I told this one woman that she was happy. She lost her mind. She was like, oh. But sometimes that's very important for a woman. She just want to know what you're about, what you got going on. See, look, let me. If you got something going on, you can generally get a woman, and in fact, you know which women who are going to support you and down for whatever that you got going on. As long as you got something going on. And then, talking about sex and all of that, well, you need to join my Patreon for that. But just need to be decent in bed. And really, if you got sexual confidence, you can do something in bed, and that's another way of getting their attention. See, those are the guys who generally select. And despite what you hear about them only going for 20% of men and all of that, I would put the numbers honestly at 30 to 40%, because you got a lot of women out here, they still giving up something. Now unfortunately they don't want to get with a whole lot of men, but usually one of the things I found with those men who are generally non-select, who are having trouble, they ain't interested. They don't fix themselves up. They don't work on their appearance. Shoot, they go against body games. But they also just boring. What else they got going on? What else can they talk about? And they usually got poor social skills anyway. Look, if you really look at the men who really get women out here, the men who really get women, it's usually come down to they make sure their appearance is good, so that gets the woman's eye. Even if they got a little bit of weight on, like I say, they ain't gonna be perfect. And a lot of women ain't looking for that anyway. A lot of women, just as long as you got your clothes on right, but then be able to have that good conversation with you can get a woman. You can get a woman. And have some confidence in yourself no matter what. If you walking with confidence and everything, you can get a woman. Contrary to popular belief, like I say, that might be 30 to 40%. It's still not the majority. But here's the thing. Women are thirsty for those type of men. That's the main thing. They want those men badly. It don't take much. Like any guy who's in that more select category that women want, they usually have a bunch of women they can get with easily. Let me say that again. Easily. They don't have to do much. You know? Should the women be choosing them? The women be scheming on them. You know? Don't go by what y'all might see online either. Because women, you know, like the gift they keep on giving, those balloon pop shows, right? Yeah, some women, they'll pop the balloon in front of everybody else and act like they don't want a guy. But then backstage, they giving up some numbers. They giving up a whole lot. And also, too, with a whole lot of women, you know, they be on some sneaky shit, right? They be on some sneaky shit. They don't want to deal with a man in front of their girlfriends if they think their girlfriends don't like the guy. Or you, as a man, all you have to do is just be chill. Seriously. Chill. You know, fix yourself up. Be able to have a good conversation. And boom, you'll get some. And then, you know, and I've always talked about like tribes and also, you know, especially different women liking different men. And see, the issue is if you really pay attention to what women are talking about out here, they thirsty. They thirsty. You know? They want a man. They want that they want that sex. Shoot. They want that sex. Cause yeah, like I said, I talk about more about that or different sexual aspects on my Patreon. I need to join that. But you know, seriously, these women out here thirsty because there's more. It really is more attractive women than there are men. Because if you look at like these guys who are having trouble, you can pretty much, you know, they come off as weirdos or poor social skills, real nerdy, something like that. Like you can, like if you in public with them, you can almost take a look at them. Even in situations, you ain't even checking out their looks, just how they dress, how they talk, and you just be like, I don't see how that motherfucker get any. You know? Because if you look at who women go for, they go for what I said. You know? That's why I say a body game. They go for guys who got good body builds. They don't have to be great, but good body builds. Guys who can have that conversation with them and everything. And women thirsty because there ain't enough of them to go around. Because, you know, some dudes think, oh, it's just 10%. Well, like I said, even if it's more, even if you like really put the number up to 40%, it's still not enough of them. It's still not enough of them to go around. And a lot of women, you know, that's why some women will consciously share a man. You know, I was talking about like men being side pieces. There's a whole lot of women out there consciously a side piece. You know? Consciously. They already know they gotta share and everything. I'm still waiting for the day like you get a major movement of women trying to promote polygamy. It'll be the women, trust me on that. You know? Or women consciously, well, they already consciously sharing men anyway, but they thirsty out here. Cause you got more women who will fix themselves up, you know, look at the clothes they wearing, look at the makeup they putting on, They consciously fixing up. But see, you don't have the same equal amount of men who doing the same thing. That's why for a man, shit, it really don't take much. Seriously, it don't take much. And even those guys who are having trouble, a lot of times they come down to either appearance or lack of social skills, or a lot of times just both. That's why I say practice talking to 3 women a day. That's why I say practice talking to 3 women a day. Say just saying hi. And just ordinary conversations with them. You don't have to be anything great. You know? But it's not even so much, because you get some guys, they talking about, well, the women rejected me. It's like, well, they have a good reason. Because the thing to focus on is, okay, instead of focusing on the rejections, focus on, okay, what are the guys doing who are getting women that you seeing? That's you walking out here with them. You see the women walking out here with a guy. You know? It's really not that hard, because these women are so thirsty. These women are incredibly thirsty. I mean, this thirst is crazy. I swear that looked like somebody who shouldn't be in this area, but don't worry about that. Anyway, right? I want y'all to think about that. Think about that. If you're a man, you're looking for a woman. Look, here's the thing. Instead of complaining and anything like that, just fixing up. Like I said, even if you just hit the gym just a little bit, like you don't have to be super muscular, and then, you know, fix up your clothing. You know, fix up your clothing and everything. You know, just dress fly. Because, shoot, that was one of the earliest games I learned, just dressing fly. You know, getting the body right, dressing fly. You know, deciding on which haircut draws a women's attention the most. And then, that's just the trap right there. That's just the bait. You know, they whether they approaching you or you approaching them, that's just a matter of, oh, okay, got this going. All right, now what? Then the second thing is just being able to talk to them and just practice talking. Seriously, that's why I say hi to 3 women a day. At some point, you'll be able to like have small talk with them and everything. And all you doing is building a muscle. Then when you run into a woman who, wait a minute, let me just block her. I don't want no weird thing. When you, okay. When, yeah, I had to block her. You know, you never know sometimes. Anyway, right? When you run into a woman that you actually want to meet, you all right. Because one of the scariest things is a lot of guys just don't know how to talk to a woman. I'm like, they're a woman. They won't bite unless you want them to. I love saying that. But, no, they really won't. They really won't. They won't bite unless you really want them to. So you gotta think about that. You gotta think about that. And just practice talking every day and everything. Sure. In fact, that's why it was something. That's one thing I've heard from women. They just wanted to talk. Because, you know, the other day I said something about singles events and everything. And I will jump on the women about that. They be going hard against some guys and stuff. But see, that's on them. That's on them. Sometimes you go to some events, because I remember an event I went to way back in the day. I was just selling books. It was a speed dating event. I was just selling books, and I had these women, like, hitting me up and everything. You know? And, you know, that was like, you know, they trying to talk to me and everything. And all I was doing was having a conversation. That's how badly they wanted to talk. And that was over 2 decades ago. It's even worse now. See, if you fix yourself up, get that conversation skills, you can get a woman easily. Because they are thirsty. They are thirsty. I mean, it's kind of crazy how thirsty they are. Be smiling and everything, doing all that stuff. It's like, yeah. So anyway, though, it really ain't that hard. Dudes be making it like it's some rocket science. Ain't no damn rocket science to it. Shit, it's just some basic ass shit you have to do. And if you have trouble doing that, that's what you need to work on. You know, the gym, dressing a certain way, you know, having that style, get their attention, and then just talking, which you can develop that. There ain't no magic to it. Just talk, practice. Even if you get put in, look, here's something. Here's something. Like, some guys allow themselves to be put in a friend zone by a woman. Talk her head off. Ask her. She'll tell you. Like, here's some game for you. Like, if you ask that woman that put you in a friend zone, just say, oh, okay, so what do I need to do to get another woman? Not even her. And she'll tell you, but see, here's a funny thing. If she tells you, she's going to tell you what she like. All of a sudden, she'll look at you and be like, you got to rethink this platonic thing, if you do it. Because one of the things I found with a lot of guys in person who have trouble, they hard-headed. And it's like, man, come on, man, it's easy. Don't be tripping. You know? Shoot, women kind of easy when you think about it. They easy. You should be to the point, really, where you're only dealing with women on your terms. That's how thirsty they are out here. You can get something. Just fix up a little bit. Don't get caught up into thinking, oh, wow, I got to have status, I got to have money. They don't know. Shoot, women just want to talk to somebody. Shit, just that conversation is all you really need. So, anyway, though, that's all I got for today, yo. You know, and it's the weekend. Oh, man. Yeah, I'll just say it's been an interesting couple of weeks for me. Yeah, family stuff. You don't have to worry about it. But anyway, I know I ain't going to holler at y'all over the weekend. So anyway, I'll holler at y'all next week. Well, the car video anyway. I get the regular stuff. All right? Talk to y'all. Peace.